Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And today I want to do a little bit of a different kind of list, or maybe someone else has done it. I haven't really seen it, at least not in a while, I don't think. But basically I just want to pick a game suggestion for every letter of the alphabet. And these are suggestions that won't come from my top 50 for the most part. There might be a couple that had to due to, not having many games and some letters. But for the most part, I'm just going to give a game recommendation, explain a little bit about it from A to Z, minus one letter that I haven't played any games from yet. Again, I'm trying to not pull from my top 50 favorite games because obviously those are going to be recommended by me. They're my favorite games of all time. And if you want to check those games out, check out my other videos about my top 50 favorite games of all time. This is something slightly different. Some of these games may have appeared in the past lists. Like I said, maybe one or two of them are still on the current top 50 list just because of lack of games played for certain letters. Otherwise, I try to pull out letters or games from each letter that will add something different, something to check out. I try to get a variety of games from a variety of different publishers. So hopefully I succeeded. You can let me know how you think the list goes at the end in the comments below. With that all said, let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the letter A, of course. My recommendation for letter A is Agropolis, which is a spin-off of Sprawlopolis from Button Shy, little 18-card deck games. In Agropolis, what you're doing is you're going to shuffle that 18-card deck and set 3 aside for the point values. Every card in the deck is dual-sided. One side is going to be 4 squares of different colors that represent different parts of agriculture, animals, in this case plants with some roads, fields, etc. And the other side is going to be scoring conditions. So you're going to take 3 of them, flip them over for their scoring conditions, and then play the cards out one at a time to try to best meet the conditions. And you're going to lose points for roads. You're going to maybe lose points for not doing a condition well enough, and gain points for various conditions, as well as making similar size or the biggest size block of each color. Those will also add up to points. This is technically a cooperative game. I usually just play it solo, and I really enjoy Agropolis, and it's easy to fit into your pocket anywhere. So I recommend any of the Button Shy games that might interest you. Agropolis for A. B is going to be a game I have not played in a long time, so I'm going to probably do very poorly at describing this game for anybody who does know it well. But for me, Blueprints is a game that I really enjoyed the one time I did play it. Man, it's probably been 7-8 years now. But in Blueprints, what you're doing is you're going to have at least one blueprint card. I don't remember more than that. And then you're going to draft dice to try to fill out that blueprint with the dice. I don't recall if the values of the die matter. I'm assuming they do. It's been so long since I played it. But I do remember that you're just drafting different colored dice to build out your blueprint. And then at the end of the game, you're going to kind of add up your score for your blueprint to see who wins. And I really like this game. It's a dice drafting game, a small box game, quick playing if I recall right. It just was an enjoyable game that left an impression on me ever since I've played it. Obviously not enough to fully explain how to play, but it's been so long, and I really would love to get back to a point where I can play Blueprints again. And that is my suggestion for the B. For C, Colt Express is a story kind of game where everybody's going to take turns playing out their action. They're doing a train heist, so you're going to use an action to move maybe from one car to the next car, or go up a level, or to pick up, hopefully, loot that might still be there. But because everybody's doing this, your actions might end up being interrupted by other players' actions, or you thought you're going to move 2 cars and pick up a loot that was in there, but somebody else only had to move down a level to pick up that loot, and then you no longer have that loot. It's just a real funny little game where you're going to lay down one card at a time to tell the story of what you're doing silently, and then everybody's going to take turns flipping over and taking their actions unknown to others until they've already played their decks. I think you play 3 rounds and then total up who did the best. You can even take turns shooting at each other to try to knock loot out of their hands. It's a really fun story-driven silent play style of game, Colt Express. For D, this is a game I know has been in my top 50 in the past. It might be currently, I haven't re-looked back at my top 50. But Discordia is a game that I really enjoy just because it's different than other games. You're going to place tiles in your tableau, and then you're going to place meeples onto those tiles in various spots. And your object is to just try to get rid of all your meeples. That's the whole game. You're going to use dice drafting again, action selection, to do your actions to place or remove or whatever with the meeples, take special actions, and whatever the case is. I just really enjoy this game because it's basically in the end a race to just get rid of all your meeples, or at least get rid of the most meeples by the end of the game. There's a lot more to it than that. It is quite a bit thinky, not super heavy, but probably one of the heavier games on this list overall. So Discordia game I think you should check out if you like medium weight, heavier games. E, this is going to be a live action game, Escape, The Curse of the Temple. I really enjoy this. I don't like too many real-time games, but this one I really do like. You basically got a soundtrack, you're playing 10 minutes, you're trying to explore through the temple and pick up all the various artifacts you need to get out with. And it's a cooperative game. You're exploring tiles. You're rolling on, each tile. You have to roll dice. You're constantly rolling dice. You could get stuck and might need someone to help you out. You need to roll certain icons on the dice to be able to move into rooms or to pick up items that are in the rooms or to meet the special item objective in each room. And you're really racing against the clock. And every once in a while, you've got to come back to your safe zone or else you're going to take damage and lose dice at certain points. You might have to put a hand behind your back, and if your dice rolls off the table, it's gone forever, I believe is the rule. So it's just a lot of crazy, zany dice rolling fun in real time. It plays exactly 10 minutes long. So if that's your cup of tea, I recommend Escape, The Curse of the Temple. For F, I'm going with an engine builder game that I really kind of enjoyed. It's got two different stages of it. This game is Furnace. In Furnace, the first stage is the draft stage, where you're putting out draft discs of different values 1 through 4. If you put the highest value disc out, then you're going to win that card and add it to your engine. And if you don't win the card, you're still going to get rewards from the top of the card based on the value of your bid disc. So if you put the 3 disc out and lose the card, if somebody put a 4 disc out, you're going to get 3 times the number of those resources that you're going to need. And then after the auction phase, everybody's going to take whatever cards they won with them, take whatever resources they earned for not winning the card, and add them to their engine tableau. And then from there, you're going to use the tableau, and if you play it in regular mode, you're going to place them in order left to right and activate them left to right and add to it as the game goes on. And the other mode, I think you can kind of slide them around from round to round. But anyway, you're going to then activate those cards using those resources to try to gain points. And at the end of 3 rounds, I believe it is, you're going to see who has the most points from their best engine being built and the best use of the resources they were able to manipulate from either the action and or the engine. I really enjoy this one. It's got the auction element. It's got engine building element. I really like engine building, and that's why Furnace is going to be my F choice. For G, there weren't many options, but this option, and hopefully you get a chance to check it out yourself, but right now this game is still in pre-Kickstarter mode, so it's weird kind of putting it on the list, but I do want to mention Gympire, Zarman's Demands, in case it does come to Kickstarter soon. I believe it's supposed to again this year. It had started to last year and then kind of failed out, and he's retweaking some things and going to bring it back. But Gympire Zarman's Demands is a tableau builder, and again, you're kind of building an engine a little bit. You're generating resources. It's multi-play draft. You're hidden, choosing what you're going to do, whether you're going to try to buy more cards or whether you're going to activate your engine. And then you're trying to meet certain objectives, and the first player to meet 2 of the 3 objectives, I think is how it ends out, will it trigger the end game, and then you're going to see who has the most points. I just really liked Gympire Zarman's Demands from my pre-Kickstarter preview play of the game, and I hope it comes to fruition so you can check out Gympire Zarman's Demands yourself. H, this is a game that kind of got me started in the hobby, or at least the style of game. I started way back in high school playing tabletop sports games, and I play a lot of baseball, football, whatever games, but it's going to be Hockey Blast. That is my favorite tabletop sports game, at least at the moment. And that one is mostly solo. You could play it head to head, but really what you're doing is you're just reenacting a hockey game between two teams. You're rolling dice, you're changing lines, and you're seeing what happens in each minute of play. So you're going to play 60 minutes of the game. There are some lull minutes to help speed things along, so you're not, playing 60 rounds necessarily. But there's fights, there's goals, there's everything that happens in hockey can happen in Hockey Blast. And it takes me maybe 10 to 15 minutes to play a full hockey game on my table. I still enjoy playing Hockey Blast from time to time. And so that's why that is my choice for H. I was a toss-up between two games that are basically the same game in different formats. And I went ahead and went with It's a Wonderful World, because that one plays to 4 players and has a decent solo mode as well. It's a Wonderful Kingdom also could fit the bill. It's a 2-player only, but has a better solo mode, and I'm a bigger solo player than especially 2-player. But It's a Wonderful World, another engine building game where you're kind of drafting in It's a Wonderful World, you're passing a hand around and you're drafting one card from it, pass it, draft a card, pass it. And then from those cards, you're going to use them right away to get the resources, or you go to put them in your tableau to be built. And once you can get enough resources on the card to build it, it's going to go into your kingdom or your city, whatever it is in the game, into your ability to generate more income and more resources later and later in the game, and also points at the end of the game. So it's got a solid little engine building, bit of drafting mechanism, and I really just like the It's a Wonderful whatever games. So It's a Wonderful World is my choice for I. J is going to be a one verse mini game based on the movie Jaws. I liked the game Jaws. I played it just the one time. It's a secret role. One person's playing the shark and other people are playing the various villagers from the movie. So you're going to play Brody, Quint, what's the other one's name? But you're playing the 3 or 4 main characters. I think it's just the 3. 3 versus the shark. And in the first phase, the shark's going to be moving around the island trying to sneak attack against all the various beach goers and knock them out to power up for the second phase. Meanwhile, all the islanders, or the main story gentlemen, are going around the island and doing various things to try to track down the shark and start to weaken it before the final phase. And then just like in the movie, the final phase is on the boat. I think we need a bigger boat because you're slowly going to break apart the boat, or at least the shark's going to attempt to break apart the boat and knock you into the water. And if you get knocked in the water, the shark could eat you. So that is a race to see who can survive the longest by the end of the game, whether it's the shark taking out the heroes or if the heroes can take out the shark and stay alive. And that's all based on the first phase, where the shark can get weaker or stronger based on the first phase events. I just really enjoyed this. I'm not huge on the hidden movement and one verse mini games, but this one I did really enjoy. For K, this game won the Spiel des Jahres a few years ago, 2017, I believe. It is King Domino. It is tile drafting, and you're building up a 5x5 square with those tiles. You're going to try to connect various land types together to earn points, and that's pretty much the game. It's pretty quick, easy. You can teach it to basically anybody, and all you're doing is drafting tiles and put them in your tableau to try to connect the most land types together to earn the most points. It's just a fun, enjoyable game, and I can see why King Domino won the Spiel des Jahres, or Game of the Year, in the German Essen game show.
Hey everyone, Editing Brian here. Just to say, I kind of feel bad about the way I talked up my original L choice, Living Forest. It's a kind of a card flipping pressure luck game. And the more you can flip cards, you'll get more and more ability to buy or take better actions to, score better in the round and eventually try to get the resources you need or put out the fire. I think there are 3 different ways to win the game. It was a decent game, but not my style of game. I feel like I gave it a bad talk in my original review, so that's why I'm just kind of showing you the picture here and skipping over my original take. Also, I would like to go ahead and throw in a Legacy of You as another L game that I do really enjoy as well for a solo-only campaign game. I realized I kind of left Garphill games off the list somehow, and I guess because a lot of them are in my top 50. So Living Forest and Legacy of You are good L choices, depending on your style of game. A friendly push your luck kind of game with Living Forest, or a solo campaign game with Legacy of You. Back to the regular scheduled video.
Now we're on M. For M, I picked Mille Fiori. This is a game where, again, you're going to draft action cards from kind of passing a hand around. And you take the action card out that you want to perform in a round, and then perform that action. And you've got these gem tiles or tiles that you're placing out that do different things and earn you points in different ways. And it's kind of just a race to get the most points from your actions onto the board. And I haven't played this one in a while. It's not a good 2-player game. It has no solo mode. Probably best at 4, I think. That's one downfall of the game. But if you like the idea of drafting your action from a hand that's being passed around, and then everybody takes their action, and you're trying to basically take control of certain areas or connect enough of your gems together to score bigger and bigger points, and you got to kind of keep an eye on what the other people are doing, because you don't want them to score big points too, because you're focusing on what you want to do and not focusing on what they're doing. That's racking them up a lot of points. And again, because you're passing the hand around, you might be passing them cards that they love to be passed, or you could take out the one card you know they really want and use that against them and play it out so they can't use it. I just like the concept of it. It's got some great components. There we go. With the colored gems that you're placing on the board, it's got 5 or 6 different action slots that score in different ways, but in the end, it's just a point salad of fun from the drafting of cards to do your actions. And some actions can trigger another action, which could trigger another action, and you might get 3 or 4 actions on your one turn if you time it right with the right card. I just like a lot of thought, not super heavy, but heavy enough to give you some good thoughtfulness in the game. Mille Fiori. For N, I'm going with The Networks. This is a game that I, again, haven't played in a while, but I really do enjoy. I think it was on my top 50 a couple of years ago and has fallen off since then just because I haven't played it that much. But in this game, you're doing actions to build out a series of television shows. Otherwise, you are a network owner. And from these shows, you were putting actors on, you were putting ads on to generate money, actors to generate, followers. And then you're going to try to buy more actors or more shows to put on the lineup, because at the end of every year, every show is going to age, and eventually they're going to age out as people get tired of the show. And then you're going to collect points based on whether or not you can get a good rerun out of it, or if it's maybe not a show that's built for reruns. You won't do that, but you play through, I think, 7 or 8 rounds, just placing ads, actors, different show types to generate money and points, and use the money to buy more actors, more shows, more ads, or more abilities, one-time use cards that you can use to trigger different events. I really like The Networks. I like the theme of it, building out, a lineup of shows over the course of, I think it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock time slots. I'm not 100% sure. It's like I said, it's been a while since I played it, but basically you're going to have 3 shows in your lineup that you're going to attach actors and ads to, and then you can do some action cards and other various things to try to score a bunch of points. I just really like The Networks. For O, I'm going with On Tour. It's a roll and write game that I really enjoyed, and I've only played it the one time. I really want to get a hold of this one. But with On Tour, basically, whoever's the lead for the round is going to roll the 2 dice or the 3 dice. And then from those dice, one of them is going to be used to dictate which section of the board you can build on or visit with your tour stops if you're a traveling band. And then the other 2 dice are going to be used to put those numbers on that spot. So they're 2 10-sided die. So if they're like a 7 and 8, you're going to put a 78 in one zone and an 87 in another zone. And everybody's going to be doing that same thing on the same board. But as the board gets covered, as people make different choices with those rolls, everybody's boards are going to be different. And all you're trying to do is build the longest and best tour route going from lowest to highest in consecutive order. So you really got to think out where you're putting down the numbers, especially later and later in the game, where you really want to get like a nice number between 52 and like 67, and then somebody rolls like a 2 and a 3, and you're stuck with 23 and 32 that you have nowhere useful to put, but you still got to put them on the board somewhere. Just really like on tour, a great, fun, little thinky roll and rate. For P, I think this is one of the heavier games that's going to be on the list. It's Porta Negra game. I just really enjoy. You're building out the city of Trier in Germany. I used to live not even an hour from it back when I was in Germany. So I've been to the Porta Negra quite a few times, the city of Trier quite a few times. Still got those ancient Roman ruins that this game is based off of. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go around kind of rondel style around the board to different sections, and each section is going to allow you to take different actions or to build in that section. And what you're doing is you're trying to build different sizes of structure onto each different zone, whether you're helping the cathedral, you're helping the Porta Negra, you're helping build the walls around the city. You're doing various things, and they require various amounts of these 3D wall tiles that act in different colors for different purposes, and then you're going to stick your little Roman on top of it to dictate you built that part. And then at the end of the game, you're going to count up who did the best in each zone. So there's like some kind of area control element in it, and just racing to get the better spots in the different sections, or to contribute the most to the wall, or whatever the case is. Lots of different ways to score points. It's an old Euro game that has a great Euro feel to it. Not super heavy, but heavy enough to create a lot of thought pieces, because there's quite a bit going on, even though it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. And it's a game where your action selection is your cards in hand. So everybody's got the same deck of, I think, 10 cards, and you're going to draw 2 or 3, and then you're going to play 1 in each round, or 2 of the 3 in each round, and then draw 2 more. So you're going to cycle through the same decks in different ways, which lead to different actions for everybody too. I just really like what Porta Negra has to offer, and I'm happy to try to play it again as soon as I get some people around to do it. All right, for Q, I'm going with a game that is another one of those kind of like Cold Express I mentioned earlier. It's a game where you're secretly playing down actions, but this time you're all working together to maneuver a robot around a room to do various tasks that need to be done, depending on it's a booklet of different scenarios. So you're going to flip open the booklet, and that's going to be your map in the scenario with the rules and everything on it. And then you're going to drive the different robot around to do whatever task that robot needs to do by playing action cards face down in a row. So you're working together to maneuver the robot and get it to perform the actions they do without talking to each other. So it's pretty great in that regard, because if the robot needs to move ahead 1 square and then turn left, and you've got a move ahead 1 and turn left card, you can quickly try to get those 2 down before someone else does something different. And hopefully when they see you place those 2 cards, they know, okay, he feels pretty good that he's got the first 2 actions. So after that, I'm going to assume he's moving it forward and then turning it left. Now it needs to pick up that item, and I've got to pick up item cards. So I'm going to place that down in the 3rd spot. But everybody has to contribute at least 1 card every round. So you can't just be like, I've got nothing useful, I'm going to sit on it. So you can get into zany hijinks, because someone's got to play a card at some point, and eventually you just sit there staring at each other going, somebody play something. It's just great. Another silent, hidden movement game. It's good for the family. I played this one with my daughter quite a bit, and she really seemed to enjoy it as well. For R, I'm going with Reavers of Midgard. I have Champions of Midgard. I used to own Reavers. I got rid of this one. And it's not for lack of the game being good. I'm putting on this. I recommend it. I kind of wish I hadn't got rid of it. But it's dice action selection game. You're using your dice to go to different areas around Midgard to do different actions. It's a lot like Champions of Midgard in that you're going out, you're fighting things, you're collecting resources, you're doing things to do more things, and then you're trying to get the most points into the game. But instead of being worker placement, it's dice action selection. And I just felt it was really similar to Champions of Midgard, which people want to play way more than Reavers, so I got rid of it, but I wish I hadn't. It is a really good game, a good follow-up to Champions of Midgard, which is one of my favorite games. So Reavers of Midgard, if you like more of the dice action selection and having more control over your actions than in Champions of Midgard, Reavers of Midgard could be for you. For S, I'm going with Santorini, a 2-player chess style-ish game, only you've got various gods with various different abilities, so they change up the game. But what you're doing is you're going around, you're moving one of your gods, and then you're going to build 1 square. And you're trying to build the famous blue towers of Santorini. Or really you're not, because if they get capped with the blue tower, then you can't actually win the game on that tile. But the object is to be the first one to get someone standing on top of the 3 stacked up, and the 4th one would be the cap. So it's kind of a chess match to maneuver yourself in a position where you could be the one who has direct access to be on top of the 3 high tower. Santorini plays quick, easy, any age group. Again, another one I played with my daughter that she really enjoyed as well. I think it's one of her favorite games, and we haven't played this in a while. So maybe pull that out too. But Santorini, really enjoy. For tea, another game I haven't played in so long, but it left such a good impression on me. Tokaido. This game is just a walk down the, I think it's Japan, right? You're walking from spot to spot, and you've got certain rest points you have to like rest at, obviously. But otherwise, you can move as far as you want as long as the spot's open. But whoever's the last in line gets to move next. So if you move, 5 or 6 spots forward, then if you, especially in a 2-player game, the player behind you could just move 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 like 5 times in a row. So you really got to think, like, I really do want to go pick up this piece of art, or really go stop at this restaurant, or whatever the case is. It's been so long since I played, I don't remember exactly what all the things are. But the point is, you're doing various things along the route to try to collect art, I know for sure, and collect points and food, and I think there's set collection and things like that in the game. So you're just really trying to take it easy and walk down Tokaido. Another game I really want to get to the table again. It's been so long on Tokaido, but it looks great. It feels great. Just an easygoing game. For you, I'm going with a solo-only game, Under Falling Skies. It feels kind of like Meteoroid or whatever that game is. I never remember what it's called when I talk about this game. But the old Atari game or whatever, where you're just kind of sliding your guy back and forth and shooting at aliens that are coming down from the sky. Only this is on different boards, and you're using your dice to put 1 in each of the columns to do various things, whether it's attack the aliens or collect energy, or to research the alien technology, because in the end that's what you need to do. Is you need to get up all the way on the technology track to understand the aliens before they take you out, or take your city out that you're trying to protect. Just a really fun solo game that feels exactly like the arcade game, and that is Under Falling Skies. Alright, for V, maybe a little cheap because Viticulture is in my top 50, but Viticulture World, I don't remember if it is or not. I really like Viticulture. Viticulture World is the cooperative version of that game, and for me that works out well because cooperative leads to solo games, and I'm a solo gamer more than anything, so I really like Viticulture. Viticulture World has 8, I think, different scenarios or different continents of activities that all play different. They feel different, and they make you think about different objectives, different goals as you play the game. So I really like Viticulture World. I really enjoy what they did with this game, and my pickings were slim for V anyway, but I am not sad to put Viticulture World as my choice on this list. All right, for W, I believe this one was also maybe on my top 50, or it was last year. Whatever. Another cooperative game. It's World of Warcraft, The Wrath of the Lich King. It's a pandemic-style game, only in the realm of World of Warcraft. I do play World of Warcraft still to this day, and you're just controlling the heroes and going around and trying to take out the swarms of goblins and ghouls and beat the puzzles, or the quests, if you will, at various locations. And once you beat enough quests, then you can go take on the Lich King, and you've got to knock him out. All the while, goblins and ghouls are still attacking you. So it's a fun game. I really like this take on the pandemic system, where you've got different action dice you're going to use to try to succeed. I'm not usually a big dice fan, but in this one, I think it works out pretty good. I really enjoy World of Warcraft, The Wrath of the Lich King. I've not played any games with X. I recommend to myself playing Xayah. I've heard a lot of good things about that game. Alright, for Y, I'm going to go with Yinsh, another chess-style game. And again, Y is kind of tight on pickings, but Yinsh I really enjoy. I'm not big on abstract chess-style games. Another 2-player game where you're using hoops and circles to try to get enough in a row to collect the points. And if you do that 3 or 4 times, it's been a while since I played this one too, then you win. But each time you do, you're going to have one less hoop, I believe it is, in the game. And the hoops cross the cubes and flip them over for every one in the line that it crosses, and then puts a new one down at the end. And that's all you're doing. You're moving the hoops and dropping your stones, basically. And I really enjoy this one. It's yinch. A lot of fun. And finally, for Z, I did a review of this one of my first reviews since I started this channel 2 years ago. Zombie Kids Evolution, a cooperative game for kids with zombies attacking a school. There's 4 different zones that they're coming in from, and 4 different zones you need to get them out of, and then key off with the padlock, lock the gates so they can't get in the school. You do this a bunch, you win. Another thing about this is it's a story game. So as you win, you're going to open up new things and new items and get new abilities. And we still need to get back in this game. This is another one. I played with my kids, but I think it's been close to a year since the last time we played it. And we've still got a bunch of envelopes to open and a bunch of achievements to try to earn. Zombie Kids Evolution for Z. I really enjoy it. I hope you liked this list. I hope it was different enough to at least intrigue you. If nothing else, there are 25, 26, whatever suggestions for games to check out if you haven't already. Let me know below some games I should check out based on these games if you think you've got some ideas that I might like. That said, I appreciate you being here. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Comment below on those games, as I mentioned, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I will see you next time. Bye.